always the prison with the mortar and the chains that keep us bound. But I think you will be encouraged as you listen to Eliza's story. Come on, Eliza. This is what it feels like to be tall. Doesn't happen very often. Usually by 4th grade, the students are already taller than me. So it's just something I live with. So I get to come to church and be tall. Thank you for having me, Miss Anna. I'm scared to death. It's been a long time since I've done this.
We're friends. We love you.
Thank you. Miss Anna was talking about Paul and Silas last week, and she mentioned it again tonight. I think my imagination of Paul and Silas is far less mature than Miss Anna's. Because when I picture them in the cell, and when I think about their interactions with each other, the story I've always had in my mind is Silas going, "Dude, Paul, tell me that story again about the shipwreck. Tell me about the shipwreck and the snake, and it bit you," and they were all like, "Yeah, curse God." And then you just shake the shake off. "Tell me that story again, that was so awesome." And Paul would tell the story, and Silas like, "I love that story." And then in my imagination, I hear, "Oh, tell me the one where you walked on water too." And Paul's like, no, that wasn't me, dude. That was Peter. But that was also a cool story. But I'll go ahead and share that one too. And I picture them just like sharing story after story, and their stories about the amazingness and the goodness of God just leading to these places where they're just, even they're sitting in filth, they're just so grateful for all that God has done in their lives and for them and for those around them. And that gratitude leads to worship, where then they just start singing and worshiping. And that's my imagination. It's far less mature. I doubt Paul said dude, but maybe I could go back into the Hebrew and find that in there if I search hard enough. But in my experience in life, I have a few decades now. In my experience, I've come to a place where I've learned that when I can focus on gratitude and when I can allow my perspective to be shifted onto gratitude, that really does take me to a place where I'm being reminded of the goodness of God, and that does lead me to a place of worship, and lead me to having a heart of worship, and I'm very passionate about worship. My cell, for me, was a pretty disgusting place growing up. I had emotional abuse, sexual abuse. I had a stepdad who, when I didn't service the way I was intended to, he would hang me off a bridge from a rope and then let go and grab it and then laugh as I was screaming in terror because I didn't want to fall into the water. He would put my siblings, I'm the oldest of 6, he would put my siblings on a train track in a car as a train was coming, and they're in the car screaming, and then yell at me that if I had just done what I was told, they wouldn't die, and it was going to be my fault that they died. And it wasn't just emotional abuse, it was sexual abuse. There were times where if I didn't do what I was told, he would hold me at gunpoint and force me to watch my siblings in sex acts with other men. Sometimes it was at knife point if there wasn't a gun available. And because that was the one way he could get me, was to threaten or hurt my siblings, I would do what he asked. And sometimes I had to service 4 to 6, sometimes 4 men a night. And that was my life growing up. And it was heinous. It was hell. And I've been asked by a lot of people over the years as I've slowly started to share bits and pieces of my life. They're like, how in the world can you even believe in God? How in the world can you get up and smile and be grateful and talk about gratitude? How in the world can you be goodness of God. And I had a wonderful teacher growing up. She just loved Jesus so much, and I'll try to be quick. She loved Jesus, and I remember one day after it was time for recess, and all the kids were going to recess, and she was like, Elisa, I need you to stay. I need you to stay. And I was one of those students that if she asked me to jump, it was, yes ma'am, how high? You want me to do 10 math problems? I'll do 20. Whatever to get the teacher's attention, because I so desperately needed that. But when she asked me to stand for recess, I thought, oh my goodness, I'm in trouble. I'm never in trouble. I'm the good girl, the goody two-shoe, even though I was doing in my mind horrific things at night. At school, I wanted to be the good girl, desperate to be the good girl. And she was like, Elisa, I want you to follow me. I just thought, oh Lord, I'm in trouble. She's like, come with me to the restroom. And I thought, to the restroom? Okay. And I followed her in the restroom, and she got a paper towel, soapy, filled it up with soapy water. She started washing my face. And to know me at the time, well, when you're in that type of a seedy lifestyle, there's a stench that follows you, and it's disgusting, and it's gross, and I was dirty. I was the kid that came to school dirty. I was the kid that came to school stinky. And she started washing my face. And she was like, baby girl, if you meet me here every morning, I will teach you how to be dignified on the outside. And if you meet me here and you learn this, you let me and Jesus take care of that little heart, and I'll help you learn how to take care of your outside. I thought I had died and gone to heaven. I was there early, and I met her every morning. She bought me this matching little makeup bag like she had. And every morning, she would start to put on her makeup. I would brush my teeth, and I'd wash my face, and, do all the things she was teaching me how to do, because that was my learning hygiene for the first time, was what she taught me. And in those mornings, she just started talking to me about dreaming and having hope and being grateful. And she would ask me, what are you grateful for? And I'm thinking, what do you mean, what am I grateful for? Do you know what I just had to do last night? And at that time, I hadn't shared anything. And I was like, I don't know. She was like, well, you're breathing. Isn't that a blessing from God? You're breathing. Be grateful for that. And I'm like, okay, I'm breathing. I'm grateful for breathing. And then the next week, like, I'm grateful for you because I get to spend time with you. And slowly, she started teaching me how to find things to be grateful for, even it was the teeniest of things. And in those moments, then she was like, what has God done for you this week? What is God doing? What is he saying to you? And she literally taught me in the bathroom in 5th grade how to take those moments in my cell and find ways to be grateful. And then we'd sing together. And I think in that moment was my birth of my love for worship, because we'd sing together, and she couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. And let me tell you, even if you handed it to her, she couldn't carry it. But we sang. And I just remember thinking, wow, this is what it's like to be happy. This is what it's like. And it changed my perspective of God, because my perspective of God was my stepdad, who was a pastor. He was a pastor, very legalistic, and yet that's what I had to do at night. So my perspective of God was so broken, and but she helped me shift that. She helped take my little face and shift it to a different perspective, just where I could see Jesus and be grateful for what he was doing. We'd end our morning routine, and I'd be like, do I look dignified? She was like, well, do you feel dignified? And I'm like, yes, ma'am, I do. And she'd say, okay, let's go get the world, Elisa. It's yours. Go get it. And we'd go out and do our day. But I learned from her that it takes gratitude. And so when I think of Paul and Silas just going on and on about how awesome God is, and I look back over my life, and I look back at all the things I have to be grateful for, the fact that I am standing here today. I'm not dead. And there were times that I didn't think I would live to see my 18th birthday. And I remember times begging God, if you just let me get through this, I swear to you, I will spend the rest of my life working with kids. Just please, just help me live. And you know what? I'm standing here today, and I can look back, and I think I have so much to be grateful for. And then it reminds me of one of my favorite songs. Maybe you've heard it. All of my life, in every season, you are still God. I have a reason to sing. I have a reason to worship. I don't know if you've heard that song, but I think about that and I look over the spectrum of my life, and I can look back at every season and see God's hand and see his love. And y'all, I have never seen his backside. Never. I've never seen his backside. I can see the people he dropped into my life to rescue me in that moment. I can see the people, the anchor points he brought to bring me to the place where I am. And it reminds me, I'm not in that cell anymore, and I have so much to be grateful for. It's not always easy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, I'm the happiness guru. I'm always positive, Susie Sunshine. My year has started off rough. I have a parent that is bullying me to the moon and back. But I also have people in my life who can help take my face and shift my perspective back to God so that I can be in that place of, what do I have to be grateful for? And the more I spend on what I have to be grateful for, the more it shifts my heart into a place where I can just begin to worship. And that's the beauty of a group like this. The beauty of women getting together to do community with, to do life together. The beauty of God-breathed friendships is we get to help each other in those moments of need where we need our perspective, sometimes knocked into the right place, sometimes gently moved to the right place, so that our eyes can be fixed on Jesus and who he is and what he's done, so that can bring us to a place of worship, because that's where the chains fall off, and that's where we walk out of ourselves, like Paul and Silas were able to do. Miss Anna.